says, can you explain why keywords are not as good as key phrases? That's actually a really good question. And I'll start in a couple different ways. Like, let's just explain, just because I like to assume that not everybody watching knows all these this terminology. So a keyword would be, if you're optimizing a page on your website, you may optimize it for a particular keyword or set of words, which might be described as a key phrase. You also could do what's called long tail optimization, which is potentially optimizing for something somebody might type into Google, like a sentence or the better part of a sentence, like asking a question or whatever. And I think, if you use Google a lot and things like that, you may realize that you a lot of times you don't type in a word into Google. A lot of times you'll type in a, what is this, or what is the nearest place for this? So you type it in as a question or a key phrase instead of a key word. Well, why is that important? Well, if you have the key word of that key phrase optimized, you very well might come up for search results. But let's just say, because a lot of people that watch this show are into window tinting, let's say that you've optimized the page for automotive window tinting. And you've done a really good job of that. And somebody in Boise, Idaho is looking for window tinting, and your site is you're in Boise, Idaho, and you do automotive window tinting. And they search for that, and they search for automotive window tinting in Boise, Idaho. That's what they type in to Google. Your website very well might come up for those search results, which is the desired result. But if you've optimized that page on your website for automotive window tinting in Boise, Idaho versus just automotive window tinting, Google typically is going to view that as a better match than just automotive window tinting. And that's going to allow you to be elevated above somebody that's just got automotive window tinting. There's a lot of other moving pieces in SEO, so I don't want to oversimplify it. But that's a good example of a key word or like a keyword or keywords versus a key phrase. If you can match what you feel like when somebody sits down in Google, what they might type into Google, now you've created a very unique match that's going to, in my opinion, be a better, when Google looks at those two things, is going to be, all other things being considered equal, be a better match than just a keyword that doesn't include the whole phrase. Now, again, another element that comes into this is as we go further and further down the road of voice search with Alexa and all these other things, hopefully I don't trigger mine that's in my office here, you're going to have a situation where people are searching online by saying sentences into things like, these, I don't want to say it because it may trigger it, Alexa and other things like that. So, that's where key phrases come in, because as people search via voice, they're going to be searching via speaking sentences, not just saying a word. So that's where optimizing pages, or beginning to think about optimizing pages for key phrases versus keywords, might be a little bit more relevant. Both of them are important. I mean, SEO in general, you want to be SEO'd for the proper products and services that you offer. But if you can start thinking about it more like, can I optimize it in a way that is more reflective of how people would type it into Google when they're searching for it versus just a word, I think you're going to see a little bit better results, because you're going to be a better match when somebody types that in. Very few people, I feel, sit down in front of Google and just type in a word. Now, they might, if they're searching for a car, they might type in 2022 Land Rover Discovery or something like that, instead of searching for 2022 Land Rover Discovery in Boise, Idaho. But for a lot of other things, people do type into Google, like, XYZ service near me. That's another common one that people type in. So do you want to be optimized for XYZ, or do you want to be optimized for XYZ near me? I would say that you might actually get a little bit better results if, because if your website has the city and state and things like that, and the person that's searching has that city and state and near me, that's actually going to potentially be a better match than just the product or service. Again, products or services, keyword SEO has been the way it's always been done, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as you do new SEO, as you update your SEO, you may want to try to think about how maybe you can integrate in some key phrases to complement your keyword strategy. And I think that you're going to get a little bit more ahead of the game than just sticking to keywords alone.